Welcome back, everyone, to the Off Campus Podcast. This is a shorter episode. I'm alone this time. It's going to be a much shorter episode, but it is a very important one. I have some announcements. There's going to be some big changes coming to the podcast this year, in the near future, and hopefully forever. So basically, I'm going to be changing the name of the podcast. I know I already have like merch that says Off Campus Podcast, but I figured now is the time to do it. The earlier the better, because I don't think it really shows what my podcast is about. And what I mean by that is when people hear Off Campus Podcast, they're probably assuming something about school, something about college, university, and it's not about that at all, really. I mean, that was my plan to start, and that's why the name was great then. I think the new name is going to be Echoes of Insight, and ChatGPT was a big assist in coming up with that name, so I'm not going to take credit for it, but I think it's a great name. Also on YouTube, I can actually see what people are searching to find my stuff, to find my channel, to find certain videos. But what people are doing to find my videos is people are searching about school. So they're saying stuff like campus, and that is obviously a word that goes along with school quite a bit. I don't actually really... I can't even really think of any other contexts where campus is used a lot other than school. So what happens is people are looking up stuff like off campus, on campus, and they're finding my channel. And then when they click on a video of mine, it has nothing to do with what they're looking for. And because they do that, they click off, don't watch much of it at all. So my retention is very short then, and they're not interested. And YouTube can obviously tell that with their algorithms and their knowledge and everything. You know, YouTube knows everything about... YouTube knows like when you double tap your screen, it skips 10 seconds forward. They recognize that, and they know that if you do that on one of my videos, then that's a place where retention's maybe lower. But besides the point, people are not clicking or not watching my videos when they click on them because, you know, they're not. It's not what they're looking for. It's good stuff. It's knowledgeable stuff. Obviously, I'm hoping these conversations are really good and positive, but it's not what people are looking for when they're searching it up on YouTube. Therefore, YouTube doesn't push it to anyone else because they recognize, oh, this probably isn't good content because it's not what, when people are clicking on it, they're clicking off immediately. Or not immediately, but very shortly after. They don't watch it for very long. So that's a big reason why, is because I want this podcast to do well in terms of numbers. Obviously, I want it to do well in terms of quality, which I have complete control over, and I don't have complete control over the views, which is why I'm trying very hard to not get caught up in the views too much. I really enjoy doing this podcast. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, and to see that when I put in all this work, you know, like these full podcast episodes, if I upload one and within the first day, a bunch of people look up off campus, and they're looking for school stuff, not looking for my podcast, and they click on the video and they click off immediately, YouTube will just stop pushing it to people. And I put hours into this. I mean, I probably put at least 4 or 5 hours into each episode, and more after making clips and stuff like that. Probably close to 5 or 6 hours every podcast, and then that's without planning. Planning takes some time. Finding guests takes some time. It's always in the back of my head. Who am I going to have on next? And I'm not saying that to complain, because I'm obviously willing to do it, and I'm doing it for my own good. There are benefits past money, and I'm not making any money obviously right now, but there are lots of benefits rather than just the financial aspect of it. And I do enjoy it. But like I said, it is kind of frustrating to see when I put all this time and effort into an episode and then YouTube immediately kind of shuts it down because the first few people that watch it click off. And it's because it's not what they're looking for. And plus, I don't want those people who are looking for off-campus or on-campus, talks about whether they should stay on or off campus. I don't want those people wasting their time watching my stuff if it's not what they're looking for. And, a certain number of those people will click on it and randomly be like, oh, I kind of like this. And that's bound to happen. But the majority of people who are watching my stuff aren't generally searching for stuff about school. Originally, my goal with this podcast was basically to have it be talk to people who didn't go to college, see what they did, and basically just talk about it. Because I did not go to college, and there's a lot of different paths for people outside of just going to college, getting a 4-year degree, and getting a job that they don't like for the rest of their lives. There's a lot more that you can do. There's a lot more that you can do. So I wanted to inspire people throughout that. But as these conversations have progressed, I realized it's very difficult to find guests that don't go to college. So even like my third episode, I think, was my friend Eric Wazbowski, and he doesn't. He goes to college. So immediately I broke my own rule. And Matt, my first episode was someone that that goes to college, still in college. Huh. But anyway, I mean, that's basically the gist of it. Is I wanted it to inspire people to not necessarily not to go to college, but just realize that there are other options, because there are. And I still stick firmly to that belief. But a lot of my beliefs have changed in terms of college. I think there's plenty of positives from going to college, not necessarily the educational aspect. I mean, I have a firm belief that if you want to become a plumber, you're going to learn a lot more, a lot quicker, if you spent a year as an apprentice of a plumber and working every day and just being around it, seeing this stuff hands-on, doing some stuff hands-on, than you would 4 years in a classroom talking about plumbing and taking tests on plumbing and reading books about plumbing. Humans are just built like that, I think. And, maybe it's different for some people, but I still stick firmly to that belief. Now, the social aspect of college is still very positive. You can meet a lot of people there, including romantic partners. You can find a wife there, a husband there. You can find great friends there. I'm friends with some of my friends that they met in college. So, but this isn't even about college, this podcast. Now, of course, now, if people searched off campus and they found this episode, they might like it because I'm talking about college. But whatever. So I got to stop talking about it. I've been listening to a lot of Theo Vaughn lately, his solo podcast, and I feel like I'm Theo Vaughn right now. It's a little weird. I'm not as funny as him, though. Echoes of Insight. I mean, what a name. I need to make a logo. I guess that's it, really. I need to rebrand the entire channel. I actually was planning on not deleting, but just making a completely new channel, a new podcast channel. And, I have my reasons still why was considering that, and I am still sort of considering that, but I don't think that's going to happen. The main reason was actually Alex Hormozy talking to Chris Williamson on the Modern Wisdom podcast. Alex was talking about how his first 9 businesses failed. So the first business, he spent time, worked hard at it, failed. Second one, spent time. This one's going to be different. Fails again. And then up to 9 times. 9 times that happened. He spent a lot of time and effort working on it, a lot of money invested into these businesses, and they all just did not work out until whatever his 10th or 9th, whatever. He said his first 9 failed, so his 10th became successful. And I kind of thought, oh, well, maybe that's a good idea then. Just scrap my whole podcast, start anew with the things that I've learned. A new YouTube channel, too, which I think, I actually am not 100% sure about this, but I think YouTube pushes newer channel stuff more, just because it doesn't know its place. Like, YouTube doesn't know its place as well as it would know mine, because I've been posting for a year, over a year. So, yeah. It's very interesting. I was planning on doing that, but this last episode that I uploaded with Tegan, it did pretty well. And I think if I just rebrand my podcast, I'm going to have to get a few new sweatshirts to walk around with. It's going to be good. It's going to open my mind up to more potential guests, because with the whole idea of off campus at the beginning, with having people that didn't go to college and did other stuff, I always had it in my head, like, when if someone goes to college, it's going to be kind of tough to speak to them about this, because, I don't really have too much in common with them. And, one of the hardest parts about finding guests that I've actually learned, surprisingly, is a lot easier than I thought it would be, is that I have a very weird thought process, and I care about a lot of weird things. So I obviously, I don't know how to say this without sounding cocky, but I think very differently than everyone else, or most people my age. I don't party, I don't drink or anything, so that immediately separates me from 95% of kids my age. And so I thought it'd be very difficult for me to find guests that think not just similarly to me, because I do want to talk to people who think differently than me. Nate Sarantino being one of them. He has the Guided Spirits podcast. You should go check him out. He's a cool guy. I disagree with him on a lot of stuff. On some of my most basic and my strongest beliefs, like my belief in God. He does not believe the same thing that I do. Yet, I have done 2 podcasts with him, and 1 on his. 2 on his, actually. So, I don't want to just talk to people I agree with. And I don't want to talk... So I didn't mean that I wanted to only talk to people that I think similarly to. But he's a very deep thinker, like so. So I thought he was great to have on. Same with Tegan, same with a lot of my other guests. Matt Jazokis, he's been on twice. I'm probably going to have him on again soon, because they're always fun. And I don't know where this is going to head. I liked the series, the 12 Rules for Life series, because it kind of gave a focus on the podcast, on each individual episode, and it was really nice to just soak in everything about that topic and be able to really learn and discuss and go through my beliefs on every single rule that was in that book. And I read every chapter of that book several times, because to prepare myself for the episodes. And even after reading it 3, 4 times, having a conversation about it, I learned so much more. And maybe that's a lesson to be learned from this episode, is that no matter how much you think you know about something, you should have some discussions about it and talk about it with people that you feel comfortable talking about it with. And arguably, probably someone who does not agree with you on a lot of their fundamental beliefs. You can learn a lot from those people, and they can learn a lot from you, especially about certain topics. You know, I've mentioned some of my best conversations are with the kid that I work with, Johnny, around a bike, cleaning a motorcycle. You know, we just scrub and talk about random topics that he comes up with, and I do sometimes. And those are some of the best conversations, and we disagree on a lot of stuff about that. But I don't really want to keep pushing this episode out. I think I basically got to what I wanted to say. I said what I wanted to say. Echoes of Insight. I think that's a great name. Sounds a little new agey, but I'm based, so just remember that. I hope I learn a lot. I hope you guys learn a lot. Thank you for sticking by me for the past year. If you have already, I'm at 275 subscribers right now. And so if you are watching this and you are not subscribed, yet you find yourself coming back on the regular, or you just do not want to miss any of the episodes that come out, please click the subscribe button. It means the world to me. It's completely free. It literally does not change your life at all, but it massively can change mine if enough of you do it. So, and like the video so more people watch it. I am going to wait a couple days to change the name of my podcast and the logo and everything, rebranding. I'm going to wait a couple days so people can watch this and kind of be on the lookout for it instead of just, if I change all the stuff right now and then I upload a video, people are going to be like, who is this that I'm subscribed to? And maybe that will happen anyway. But I hope not. I didn't really think about this until now, but all my YouTube shorts say off-campus podcast on it, so. And all my older episodes, obviously, are me saying, welcome to the off-campus podcast. But now's the time to do it. It doesn't help to wait. If it's going to happen, now's the time. And that's another lesson to be learned from this episode. If you know you have to do something, do it now. That's a rule, actually, that I've heard from someone. I don't remember who. But they said, if you think of something that you have to do and it takes less than 15 minutes, do it now. Do it right when you think of it. So, actually, right now, I need to put windshield wiper fluid in my truck. That would take probably 3 minutes. And so, obviously, I'm not home right now, so I can't do it. But when I get home, I should do that. Because it only takes, it's a good rule to live by life. But 19 minutes, it's been great. It's been great. I hope you guys stick by me. And yeah, just please subscribe and like it. It means the world to me. And, it is literally no commitment from you. You can change your mind, and it's completely free. Plus, I heard that if you ask people to subscribe, that the accounts actually go up. It actually does make a difference. So, yeah. All right. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week on the Echoes of Insight podcast.